welcome to week 4 of the high school football season. Altoona Mirror, YouTube TV, Mike Boytim, our high school football beat writer, Scott Franco again with us. And just to let everybody know, the football mugs has gotten out of control here. Now people are sending them to us, giving them to us. We already have Penn Cambria. Mike's not going to help me here. We have Hollidaysburg, and we have the Bishop Guilfoyle one. So we thought we might get one more. We got 2 more. I came in last Thursday to work, and there was one here sent to us. And then Friday night I was at a game, and a lovely lady named Mrs. Dorner came up and gave me one. So we'll say in a second who that is. But we have our little props here, stage props. So our budget's a lot bigger now. So we've gotten the box. We've replaced the bag, the question bag, with the question box. So to let you know who our 2 new cups is, and we still want cups mailed to us. There's still some people out there. Nick Loveridge from Bellwood Annis did reach out to us. We just got to get the cup from Nick. But Nick has a cup for us, so thank you, Nick. We don't have it yet. And we're still waiting for that Tyrone cup. I don't know what I have to do to get one. But anyways, drum roll, whatever kind of sound effects we can put in later. Here's our 2 new cups we got. We got State College, which was given to me by the Booster Club president, State College, Mrs. Dorner, came up to me at the State College Hollidaysburg game last week and said, "Are you the gentleman from the Mirror from the YouTube channel?" And she did that right in front of my wife. It made me feel big time. I felt big time. Mike was even there. Mike witnessed all of it. He tried to stay away from it.
It really happened.
It really happened. And then also, I was at my desk last Thursday, and I came to work, and somebody from Altoona, we don't know who dropped it off, but thank you very much. We got one from Altoona, so the 2 rivals. And it's a great setup because our first thing we're going to talk about is Vince Niedermeyer Jr. getting his first win as coach the Mountain Lions, and now they got Chambersburg this Friday night on the road. Mike, what can you tell us about Chambersburg?
Well, Chambersburg has a lot of seniors, and they're solid. They had one of their best seasons last year, and they're probably going to. They're probably going to be able to build off that this year. So it's going to be a tough game, but it's so great to see them get a win in his first game at Mansion Park. He said he felt chills going out there. They kind of had to win that game twice. They were winning 23-0 in the first quarter. Alderdice came back, tied the game, and then they were able to hold them off and get that first win, which had to be a huge monkey off of the back.
And that has to say something too about those kids and that coaching staff, because you're up 23-0, and all of a sudden, boom, you're tied. You can sit there and think, "Oh gosh, it's happening to us again," and they didn't. They actually, got together and they ended up winning the game. So good for the Mountain Lions. Our next game, and it's going to be one of our cups we're talking about, is Bishop Guilfoyle 2-1 hosting Central Cambria 2-1. Now Central Cambria's coming off a pretty big loss.
They lost to Westmont, but BG also lost to Westmont.
Yeah.
So these teams both have lost to Westmont, both kind of lopsidedly. What Coach Wheeler's worried about this week is Central Cambria, their first 2 games, scored a ton of points off the turnovers. And, he's trying to work in Connor Kiesewetter and have him be a throwing quarterback. He wants to see him throw 15 to 20 times a game. And, that could play into Central Cambria's hands because their guys have a lot of interceptions this year. And that could be an issue, but Coach Wheeler said that Kiesewetter is doing a much better job making better decisions as he's getting more starts. So this will be a nice test to see where he's at.
And this would be a nice win if Central Cambria could pull this off, because I think their first 2 wins were against Johnstown and...
Yeah, they beat Johnstown and they beat Penn Cambria.
And you can beat a BG. That looks good in your resume.
Yeah, and Shane McGregor said the first 2 weeks up there, he felt more electricity at the school than he's felt the whole time he's been up there. So, he was pretty excited about how they've been playing.
Our next game, and speaking about electricity, is since this guy came here last year, I love saying his name because it's a paisan, Anthony Sodasante. Great Italian name for a coach. He's got a 3-0 Tussey Mountain team, Northern Bedford 2-1. I think every time I pick Northern Bedford so far in the first 3 weeks, I think last week was the first time I got it right. They're 2-1. They're going down to Tussey Mountain. This has to be one of the better games on our schedule this week. What are you expecting from that one?
Yeah, I'll be down there on Friday, and it was a close game last year. And Tussey Mountain, since they've it's just been amazing turnaround. And they struggled to even win a game the previous 3 seasons before he was there, and since he's been there, they've been one of the top teams in our area. They can throw, they can run, they have a ton of athletes, and Northern Bedford, they can throw too. They struggled a little bit in that first game against Central. Thad Lighty got replaced at quarterback, but he's been back in and he's been doing a great job. And Gary Black's a great coach. I mean, this game could go down to the wire, and it's a battle between 2 ICC teams that are trying to push Bellwood as the team to beat.
And I haven't seen Tussey Mountain, but I did see Northern Bedford over the last couple of years. And what Mike says is right. They are well coached. A couple times I've seen them, they put a lot of young kids out on the field. And the only reason why they were losing because they were playing more experienced teams. But yeah, Northern Bedford will be, even though they are the road team on this one, I don't think of them as much as an underdog. And I don't know if there is an underdog here in our next game. You have 2 3-0 teams, a Westpac showdown, 3-0 Portage, 3-0 Berlin. I do not know what Berlin has. I can only go from what I see. The eye test. Portage, for a small school, has some big kids on this team. But what do you know about Berlin? What can you tell us about Berlin?
Super impressed with Portage last week beating Winburg. I actually picked Winburg because Winburg had beaten them the season before, but Connor Price from Portage has been stepping it up. They can throw the ball a little bit this year, which is strange for a Portage team. But Berlin, their coach said last year, hey, you better get us this year because we're going to be really good. I know they got a lot of young guys. They're starting to come into their own. So down at Berlin, this will be a real good test for the Mustangs.
And one thing I can offer about Berlin, I know, is their 10th graders, when they were in junior high, they they played Hollidaysburg, which is a much bigger school, and Hollidaysburg only beat them like 8-6. And Hollidaysburg's a 5A school, and I got to think Berlin's what, 2A probably?
Yeah, they played against Chestnut Ridge in the playoffs.
And they're not afraid. I mean, those kids are really tough-nosed football players. So, that whoever's going to go to that game Friday night is going to have a good time there.
John Hartsock will be covering that for us.
Our last game, another good one here, Saturday game. Chestnut Ridge 3-0 is at 2-1 Westmont Hilltop. Westmont Hilltop that does not throw the ball. They just run at you. And even though it's at Westmont, I'm taking Chestnut Ridge. And just because I just think they are so well coached. It's like Max Shoemaker has they don't rebuild, they replace people. And I saw the names that they were gone from this year's magazine. It doesn't matter; they're just good again. But what can you?
Well, they still have Logan Feaster, who's
yes.
One of the best quarterbacks in our area, and it's just a matter of how many times will Chestnut Ridge have the ball, because that's what Westmont wants to do. They want to make sure that you only have 4 or 5 possessions a game. They go on long drives, and like Shane McGregor, when I talked to him about the BG game this week, he said, we had to practice a completely different way last week getting ready for Westmont because no one plays like Westmont. They're a completely different animal, and it's a tough game. It's an interesting game, and it's contrasting styles. So it'll be something to go watch if you're needing something to do on Saturday at 1 o'clock.
What makes that impressive about Westmont Hilltop? I saw them once last year against Penn Camry. They're going to run the ball. They don't even attempt to show that they're going to throw the ball, and you still can't stop them because they are so good in their blocking schemes. And they're just so good at running that offense. It's all rhythm offense. That's all we have for this week's show. We're hoping to add more to our collection next week. We certainly could use some red cups in here. And I'm not saying anything, the teams in our coverage area that are red, like Everett or Tussey Mountain or Central Camberley, but we sure would love to add some because we want to get a shelf built back here so we can put the cups up on the shelf. But we need a bigger budget, so we need to go to Neil Riddell and see what he can do for us. But for Mike Boytim, my name's Scott Franco. We hope you enjoy our Week 4 preview show, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.